Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you, and let's get right on into it. All right, folks, let's pull up the screen. Ah, yes, NIO. NIO finally jumped. It's had a couple of really, really bad weeks, but today it jumped, and we're going to talk about what's going on with NIO. And, of course, we've got the January deliveries coming up as well. So let's get into NIO. All right, folks, before we get into NIO, there's a couple of things that we need to talk about. Of course, the market, but I actually have what I think is good news, and there's been nothing but bad news, but this could be something positive. Now, I use this picture a lot. Let me get out of the way of the scarecrow. I want you to see the scarecrow. He's a big part of this. But I like to use this picture because I think it's a good movie. But anyway, we do have some good news down here on the Rona. I see it as that. And I have to be careful how I say all this stuff because YouTube gets all upset and they don't want you to talk about it, as you know. But on the Rona, let's look at something. All right, this is the new cases on the newest version. Of course, we know that's the new version of the Rona. And actually, I like being over here. All right. And as you can see, we've our 7-day moving average is still 522,000. But look at the new cases today, 116,000. So this thing ran way up, and now it's coming down just as fast, and that's kind of what we expected. So that's some good news. I see it as that. And again, like I said, I'm not going to go any further into the Rona, but hopefully this thing's starting to abate, and maybe we can get back to some sort of a normal life. We'll see. Hopefully no other version is going to show up that can, I don't know how it could be any more problematic than this last one, but who knows. But anyway, that's really good news there. That's going to help a lot, I hope, because it's so hard to do business in this environment because there's so many people that are sick all the time. And it really, it's almost impossible to run your business effectively. You just about can't. So hopefully this is going to go away to some level. We still got this coming up in March. And this is brutal, as we know, nothing but trouble. But at least one of these three things is appearing to get better. All right, now we're waiting on deliveries that we're going to get in the next 24 hours for January of 2022. And we know this is kind of the route we've been on. And in October, this is where they worked on the ET7 line. And they also were shut down for about 2 weeks. And that's when Chucky showed up and cut our delivery numbers in October. And then November, we had pretty good numbers, and December pretty good. And as you know, they're increasing their capacity there at the JAC factory in order to be able to do up to 240,000 vehicles there. And then later on in the year, they're going to have a NIO Park open up. So they're going to be able to build up to 600,000 a year once that's fully operational. So they're going to really push up these numbers over time. Now, I'm not over expecting for January, nor should you be. And here's why. You've got that same Rona over there in China they're dealing with, and they've had to shut down some of their cities. So that's probably going to slow down the January deliveries. I'm not over expecting because of that. Then in February, guess what? We've got the Chinese New Year, and we've got their big celebration, and they're going to be shut down for about a week. So February is going to stink. And then I think March and on, we should have real good numbers, or they should start improving significantly. And the chip shortage should start waning the further we get into the year. And we've heard from Taiwan, TSWC or whatever the crap the name of that big one is in Taiwan. I used to cover it some. But they've said by mid-year they should be at balance, which means they can basically ship out what's being ordered. That's how I take that word to mean. But so we're about 5 months away from that. So I would think this is going to start waning over time. I've kept hoping that it would towards the end of last year, but it really, really didn't. So hopefully it'll get better this first and second quarter. Obviously, the demand's not going to be as strong in the first quarter, so maybe they can catch up. We'll see. But hopefully the second half of the year, I would think for almost, well, I don't want to use the word certainly, but it should be a lot better because everybody's trying to make chips right now. And eventually we're going to have more chips than we know what to do with, but it may be a year or two from now. So this has been a real problem and will be for a while, especially with the ET7 coming out, because there's a ton of demand for that in China, as we know. So let's talk about the stock itself. I like to be over on the side here. All right. So as you know, this thing has been tanking along with about everything else in the market, and NIO's been no different. It's done just like the rest of them, especially the high growth that aren't making a profit. And here you can see it dropped all the way down to 20 bucks. And I've been trying to swing trade this. I've got my long position in my regular account, and I'm not going to touch it. And I'm not adding to it. I'm not taking any out of it. I'm very comfortable with where I'm at there. But I have been trying to swing trade this. I've swing traded it twice and made money on it. And every time it drops below this support of 34.80, I buy. And on this one, and I did that here, made money, did that here, made money. And now I'm struggling on this third time, going back to the well. But I bought it the 34.80, then I bought some in the low 30s, then I bought it 28, and then I paused and kind of let it go down because it made me nervous. Then it got down to 24. I bought some there, 22, I bought some there, and then right at 20, I bought some. It actually got below 20, but I didn't catch that. And now today it's back up to, good grief, 24 bucks. So it's up about 15%. So it's having a real strong comeback. And as you can see, it got in the oversold. And every time this stock gets in the oversold, whether it's here, here, gets close here, here, and here, it always pops up. So I'm not a bit surprised that it's popping up. And that's why I bought it so much right in here, because I really thought it would have already popped up, but it took a few extra days. But I'm telling you, when this thing hit 20 bucks, I was really surprised. I was like, you cannot be serious.
Look, you can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Now the question is this a fake out? Because again, the market, it's not like it's gotten better in the last 24 hours and all of a sudden everything's rosy and it's going to start running up like it did in 2020 or 21. So, you know, if it pulled back down, I would just probably buy some more. I've got a pretty good size swing position now, and where I'm looking to sell this is $54, and it may take, you know, several months before I get to that dollar level. Now the ET7 is coming out, and I think it's going to do sensational. Really fired up about this vehicle. I think it's going to do really well. It's the first sedan they've ever had, and sedans are the #1 selling vehicle in China, so it should do great. It's a $70,000 vehicle. It should be very profitable. It should become their flagship. So I see that doing great. The ET5 will come out this fall, and it's a $50,000 vehicle. And actually, let me show you the two vehicles. And here's your ET7. And this vehicle, like I say, there's coming out March 28th, I believe it is, and it's going to have really strong sales. It's just a matter of how many they can make that go out the door, because they've got plenty of back orders, is my understanding. That's the scuttlebutt, and I have no reason not to believe that. And here's your ET5, which is a smaller version of the ET7, basically. It's a $50,000 vehicle, and they're saying it's got even stronger pre-sales. So pretty exciting about this one as well. So I think both these vehicles should take them to the next level and see this stock really start doing the numbers that we hope it can do. Now we're going to take a look at some financials real quick. Now, this is not a value stock by any stretch. It's not making money, and it's not going to make money till probably later in this year. I'm thinking like fourth quarter would be my guess, and that's normally where they have the really big sales. And I would think that's when it's going to turn a profit, which should be a little bit of an earth-shattering event, because normally when a high-growth stock turns a profit, that's usually pretty epic for it, and you usually see the stock jump straight up. So if you look at the first quarter, and the reason I'm going to the first quarter, I want to show you how close they were to profit. All right, as you can see, they did right here $1.2 billion in total revenue. And if you look down to the bottom here, and this is loss from operations, they only lost $45 million, which on $1.2 billion, I mean, that's less than 4%, basically. They're close. Okay, that was the first quarter. Now, they've actually lost more money in the second and third quarter, and you're thinking, wait a minute, they sold so many more vehicles in the second, third, and fourth quarter. Why are they not profitable? And we don't have the fourth quarter numbers yet, but we do have the second and the third. And they actually lost more money, and I'll show you that. As you can see right here, they're at 1.5 billion. Of course, their sales are going up, but yet their loss from operations went to 150 million. So now they're losing at about 10% instead of 4%. Well, why would that be? That doesn't make any sense. Are they mismanaging this company, et cetera? No, they're in high growth phase. They're trying to get market share, and they're trying to design these new vehicles. So let me show you why, while they had more sales and they've got a decent profit margin, and their profit margin will increase with economies of scale, just as Tesla's did. But let me show you why this number went up, even though the revenues went up, and you'll understand. And I just put it on a couple of charts, and this is NIO's research and development. In the first quarter, they spent $104 million. In the second quarter, 136, and you can see 185. So as you can see, they are spending a lot of money on research and development. But understand, at some point this will plateau, but the revenues will not plateau. And that's the economies of scale I'm talking about. Now let's look at their general administrative. Same situation. First quarter, 182 million, then 231, then 283. This is NEO houses. This is battery as a service. They're building battery swap stations, et cetera. So of course they're going to spend more on this. But again, this is going to plateau at some point, and the revenues will not plateau because they are in high growth mode. I would say they're probably going to sell somewhere in the neighborhood of 150,000 plus this year. Well, they sold 91,000 last year. So you go from 91 to over 150, they're going to probably be looking at 70, 80% growth year over year. That's massive. Well, this is not going to continue to go up at this level. It just won't. So that's why I feel so good about this stock long term. I understand there are risks, and let's talk about the other risks. And for them, China crackdown, that's always a concern. And believe me, if this concerns you too much, I understand, and this is not the stock for you. You know, the best thing to do is just stay clear of it. If that bothers you that much, I totally understand. Stay clear of it. That's just my opinion. Now this, they're probably going to continue to have a problem with this because they're trying to have 0 cases or whatever, and I don't know how that's going to be possible with this new version. So this could continue to be a problem for them. But anyway, it's good to see it pop. And like I said, we're probably going to have some up and down days, may have some fake outs. But the fundamentals have not changed on this stock or this company. And had the fundamentals changed, I would have a different opinion. But they have not. And until they do, and if we continue to see good numbers, and this stock at a price that I think is worth buying, you know, I'm going to continue to pick up shares every time it pulls back. But that's just me. You know, you do what you want. It's your money. But that's NEO today, and we'll get those January deliveries probably next 24 hours. So if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Give the channel a chance. I'd appreciate it. And I hope you did like the content. And we'll see you next time on Mr. Frugal Investor.